Hello, we're here. We made it. We're finally back to Have the Devil. PB does a better intro than I do. I feel like whenever I host a stream, I just start saying shit because I don't know what to say. PB will be like, "Welcome back to Visual Novel Saturdays," and I'm like, "Nah, dog, you know why we're here."
Hey, welcome back to Visual Novel Saturdays.
There we go. You can tell that we play this once a month based on where all of my save files are. Look, one from February, one from March, one from April, and now we're in May.
And that's, chat, why you should never commit to playing a game with friends.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
No, this is absolutely worth it.
I'm going to be playing Blueprints on stream for the rest of the year, so it's fine.
Absolutely.
As long as people can, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear the game. So I'm just gonna, you all can hear the game on Discord, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Let's get back into it. We were
Noble
in
Electronics,
scenes.
Northeastern HQ.
Yippee.
Sub-lobby A8.
What the hell is Morgan doing there?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I like your joke, PV.
I've been here before. Sat right here in this lobby waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least, I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor. Could have been an entirely different building. All these corporate towers of Babel feel like interchangeable fractals to me, folding in on themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia. So monumental in the scale of their hubris, they needed to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing up the blueprints. Wow, I love blueprints. The greatest minds of each generation coming together just to find the most expensive way to shove their heads up their asses. Chat, if you can't, if you're hearing nothing, I need you to tell me now. And I just realized that if you can't hear me, that point is moot. But
I'm
all
checking
my audio,
for you.
My audio sources should all be correct, so I checked them this time. Yay! Thank you, Monkey Man.
Yay.
All right.
Adonai, is something bothering you?
Just doing the math on how long we'll be kept waiting here. Apparently, someone will be here shortly. So maybe if I pass the time by glaring around the place, it'll improve my mood. Girl, I love you. They changed the logo again.
Noble Electronics.
How's it feel stepping in here? Is this some kind of religious experience for you? Girl, I feel like that's... Okay.
It's just the corporation where my father worked.
Careful now, or they'll burn you for heresy against the company.
You said it again. The company, as if it's a proper noun. You're mimicking the employees, aren't you?
So it can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that?
Is it just a part of the corporate culture?
Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is. One of the biggest there's ever been. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are. So imagine what it's like working for them. You live in company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, that logo's above your head. You eat, sleep, and breathe on Noble's timetable at its discretion. When you spend your whole life inside of it, Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is.
To think this is only one room. This complex is so massive that it doesn't even feel man-made. It's like it was carved out of the rock by the waves, like it's always been here.
That's the con. If this place was actually natural, there'd be birds everywhere.
I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here?
Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in. That's dark.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, girl. Though I don't have a better explanation.
So much energy, so many people, also intent.
You kidding? It's Saturday. The place is half empty.
But doesn't everyone work on Saturdays?
All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess.
All these people for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, what could they all possibly be doing?
Making work for themselves.
You can be very cynical, can't you?
Can? I can be very cynical? Yeah, I'm terrible. But that guy over there's just been jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some goddamn authority. My mood's starting to sour, and if they just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish.
New person.
New person.
Morgan?
That's me.
Hey there. Android Manufacturing Quality Control, Eastern Division. Evan Dawes.
Alright, let's go look at this guy. Gotta do it.
Likes hammocks, calligraphy, and pale ale.
Dislikes first dates, conference calls, and 5 o'clock shadow. Oh, buddy.
Struggles with solving captchas.
His hair is just starting to gray.
Oh, there is still time.
How does his practiced handshake? Yeah, I bet, dog. When you exist in corporate bureaucracy like that, Evan Dawes, he says. Like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy?
You're familiar. Have you,
I'm David's lawyer.
Oh, then we must,
Apologies. Let me first just say how sorry I am about his passing. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now.
As if it's a proper noun.
You're really stuck on that, huh? Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
You're welcome, bud. It's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? And compared to PR or legal right now, our workloads in QA are... Never mind. How can I assist you?
Shortly before his passing, Dr. Asher began the process of registering this android.
Yes, that is correct.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job.
Look at that. It's definitely custom.
Gee, you think? Good thing I sought out an expert.
Warm, it goes without saying. Reminds me of the A16 Premiere, if anything. Barcode is clearly printed, no visible defects. But you're right. Doesn't correspond to anything we've got on file. Well, they sent you the right man for the job. Now we just need to go to the right place.
Not far, I hope.
It's in the building.
This sprite's really good.
So is he wearing fancy gloves, are his hands all bandaged up, or does he have cybernetic hands?
Those look like robot hands.
They do kind of look like mobility aids, though.
I think those hands fold out to let him type like that one guy in Ghost in the Shell.
Well, we'll see. In the building. That could mean anything from down the hall to half a day's hike.
Production line on B9 should have everything we need.
You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters?
B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and what shape or size, then they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made.
They have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests? Well, yeah, you are the one who's calling them the company, capital T, capital C, Morgan. Smart. As long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets.
No need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very seriously around here.
No kidding. There are 11 cameras on us at the moment that I can see. Who knows how many pairs of modded eyes are aimed our way? Clearly, nothing happens here without the almighty company knowing about it. So if they try to claim ignorance about anything, it's gonna piss me off. Girl, I love you. Lead the way.
(3:08 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Noble Electronics, Northeastern HQ. Basement floor 9.
Ooh, it really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's pretty rare to get to see all this in person, you know? Would you mind terribly if I looked around for a moment?
No problem. I've got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so have at it.
Better take full advantage. I'll need more than cursory knowledge if I want to figure out where Sarah came from and why David wanted me to take custody. I'm gonna look around. You stay put in the meantime.
As am I.
Wouldn't want to lose you among the rest of the merchandise.
She's such a bitch.
Yeah.
She sucks so bad. I love these little hologram caution lines on the floor. That rocks. Hold on. There we go. An inhaler left out on the desk. Probably a half dozen empty ones in one of the drawers. DAWs? The inhalers, they're distributed by the company, correct? I don't know where my Morgan
HR handles it. They personalize your dosage and prescription and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews.
This is the most fucking sinister part of this entire game, I swear to God.
My God.
Genuinely, the inhalers with fucking performance enhancing drugs is the thing that's making me insane about this.
Listen,
Everything
some would
else
say that a job that gives you an inhaler that's full of like coke or whatever is actually a great perk.
Yeah, it's a great perk.
Literally,
Glassdoor reviews
else,
are like, 3 stars, and the main positive is like, well, they did give good drugs.
Yeah, I'm like, meanwhile, I'm me in the corner going, everything else is a normal level of corruption. This sucks. Other corporations do it the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other, so can't have your employees losing focus on the job. Could cost you who knows much in lost efficiency.
Technically, I think it's Ritalin, but sorry if this is insensitive, but given what happened to David, are overdoses common in the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says.
Oh my gosh.
Overdoses, that is not hospitalizations or deaths or anything. It's all pretty organized these days.
These days?
Man, back when I started in consulting, pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from their first 2 years where they popped too few greens, and Missed the on-ramp.
Oh my god.
A few too many greens, not too few. Too few, usually you're fine.
Popped greens?
Yeah, it used to be pills.
The greeny green pizzas.
Green to get you going, yellow to keep you there. Swallow red after brushing your teeth and get into the bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement, like going from torches to the light bulb.
Damn, that's a jump.
They sync straight to your personal biomes and adjust your dosage in real time. Overdoses are way down.
Jesus Christ! That's great to hear.
The trainees under me don't realize how good they've got it. Kids probably won't even have to learn how to purge.
Please, please don't tell me. Ah!
Oh.
It's just the thing that is.
It's just
Oh, no.
purging. Oh my god. This is fucking bleak.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
hey, we're a city in the hill, just like Rome, you know?
They should
Yeah.
they should make a
We live as
solo
Romans do.
punk lawyer game where you play as a woman trying to find a lost cat in the Alps.
God.
And take a lot of performance-enhancing drugs to improve your searching methods.
But with no side effects. It's good coke. It's
I
fine
will
for
be
you.
100% honest. I need somebody to send me the original Witch in the Alps meme because I'm having the fucking, oh god, what's the name of that effect? The thing where you hear about something once and
Berenstein
suddenly
Bears?
it's everywhere? Yeah.
Or Mandela effect. Or, no, not Mandela effect.
Not
No,
sorry,
no,
Mandela.
But yeah, no,
there's an
exactly.
There's so
actual
many
name for it.
effects.
There is
I'm
an
like,
actual name for it. I don't remember what it is. I swear to God, I need somebody to send me this meme because the minute, like, I also had this thing where the minute I started thinking about playing Disco Elysium, suddenly everyone started posting about Disco Elysium again. I was like, where the fuck have you been?
yeah.
I know you motherfuckers all liked it. Were you hiding?
I'll send that over to you.
Thank you. That's another text from my mom. My mom texted me, I want to say like an hour ago, and was like, and told me my godmother is apparently working with autistic and ADHD students. The group name is ? Neurodivergent? Neuro what? I want to clarify. My mother is also neurodivergent. She knows that I'm neurodivergent. She just forgot the name. And I said, yeah, it's neurodivergent. And she said, thank you. Same mother who texted me while I was still living at home to say, what does true scum mean? And I was like,
Oh my god.
where
Oh,
did you
no.
read that word, Mom? She
So
saw
funny.
She saw it on Twitter. I sent her a link to an article about it, and she was like, nodding sagely. I understand. I love my mom.
While we're on the topic of parent texts, I got a text from my dad a couple days ago that my dad listened to Champs, but only the episodes that I was on. So this is going to spoil the Champs finale. If anyone doesn't want me to spoil the Champs finale, speak now. Okay, my dad just texted.
I should just put fucking spoilers for the Champs finale. Hold on a second, I might do that actually. Hold on. Text. Read to text. Spoilers for Champs finale incoming.
Oh yeah, I put this in the wrong chat.
It's so large, I'm so sorry. I promise I'm trying to make it better.
There we go.
It was just all over the fucking... Hold on. Sorry, PB, I really want to hear this. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, okay. My dad texted me after a week of no texts between us, because usually when I text my parents, it's to my mom. Just out of the blue. Slow bro. And Miles agreed. Period.
That's really funny.
Very good.
I think the most terrifying like parent vocabulary moment I had was like I got called like a femboy one time just like by some random people in the street. Not even in like Not even in like a hateful way, just in a like I think they were just like legitimately confused about what my deal was. And realizing that I did not have to explain what that term meant to my dad was fucking mortifying.
Oh my god.
Why do you know that word? Where the
Why
fuck
do you-
have you seen that?
Why do you know that?
I'm going to
word?
put parental controls in your fucking browser, old man.
I do also. My final parent story is my dad joined the Discord server for one of my podcasts. Why? I
Nightmare.
don't know. And one of a friend of Moonshot, Izzy, uses C-seer pronouns, and my dad said, "What is this C-seer?" And before I could say anything, my mom said, "You know, some people use pronouns that aren't he, him, she, her, they, them. They're neo-pronouns." And I was like, "Mother, how do you know this?"
Incredible.
All right,
Incredible.
I'm going to get rid of our text that says the spoilers for the champs finale are over.
It is like a 50-50 coin flip when you come out to your parents and they're trying to be chill about it at the very least, that either they never do a piece of research in their entire life, or they read a lot of stuff and don't ever tell you what they read, and then like know a lot of context that you don't expect them to.
Yeah.
And then you
Fucking
have to,
bushwhack you with that stuff.
yeah, you just have to deal with the consequences because you had no control over what they did or did not read.
Well, the funny thing is that like I knew for a fact that my mom started doing research because when I was a teenager, I confronted her over the fact that she didn't believe that bisexuality existed. She had, I genuinely think, a legitimate reason for believing this. I mean, in terms of like why she didn't believe it. She grew up in Greenwich Village in the 60s with gay people who were like, "It's not a phase, bisexuality doesn't exist. I am just gay." Fine. Fair. Not helpful for me. And she grumbled about it, and I could tell that she did research because she eventually came around to it and then swung very far in the other direction.
Oops.
Just went full progressive. It's good. It's great. I tell people I have conversations with my mom about politics, and they go, "Ooh," and I go, No, they're good conversations. We agree. They're just exhausting.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, let's go back to the game. I said this line, I'm gonna progress. Oh, great.
I'm gonna keep us derailed for one more second because it fits this game very well.
Sure.
I just received an email
Uh-oh.
from Google Gemini.
Oh, fuck
PB,
that.
welcome
Oh,
to your
no.
new personal AI assistant. Explore what Gemini can do for you. And I'm just looking at the preview of this email, so it's not showing me all the formatted text. So the rest of the email is, as far as I can see, try something new with Gemini. Try this prompt 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 with Gemini. Try something new with Gemini. Try this prompt with Gemini. Try this prompt with Gemini.
Oh my god.
Do you want some like low tier god like kill yourself now reaction images to send back to that thing? Because I've got some I can loan you.
I'm not gonna send them to a robot who it's not its fault.
The robot can't feel anything. It's like Sarah. You can just say whatever you want to it, and there's no
Oh my god,
consequences.
Jane. Speaking of Sarah.
Speaking of Sarah, am I gonna fucking hit this guillotine-looking motherfucker? Yes. This seems to share some components with that coffin Sarah was napping in. If DAWS is quality assurance, is it some kind of Android calibration device? It's probably what he'll use to register Sarah.
Wait, she was in a coffin?
Looks a little... Is Sarah tall enough for it to recognize her?
Are we 100% sure Sarah isn't a vampire?
No. What's being built out there?
Our top of the line brand new bestsellers, The Animate 16 Warm.
Looks kinda cold out there.
We keep the factory floor refrigerated.
Uh-huh.
Close the organics already tune metabolic activity to a minimum.
That explains why the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. Well, huh. The flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly.
Awesome.
I just meant I'm surprised to see metal.
Oh, while all the A16s have alloy endoskeletons, the organics are layered on later in the process.
Sounds like what Sarah told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. But it's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and these scattered doll parts. Though the way that Morgan switches between pronouns for Sarah is... it's saying something.
Yeah.
I get that you can grow just about anything from Lax Gemini, but how do you get the synthetic and the organic to work together?
Yeah, that was our first concern when R&D began working on the form concept. The 1.0s were real skin with synthetic muscle. It was a horror show. Metal pulling on skin was just...
Right.
For 2.0, they worked backwards. Organic muscles, organic skin. But digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end.
Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electric current through them? Oh,
I mean, they'd flex and unflex, sure, but that's not nearly precise enough for facial expressions. Looked like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually.
ooh, ouch!
Great.
You
It
must
seems like
have
a very
figured-
positive work environment.
You must have figured something out. The A16 wouldn't look out of place on the runway.
Thanks, we try. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, we actually just bought out a half dozen of them, but...
That's corporate, baby. Right.
They figured out how to get human nervous systems moving mechanical limbs decades ago, so... We just needed to get a mechanical nervous system to move. Living limbs.
Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the word human.
High-precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system. They receive input from neurotransmitters, not by electricity.
So you had to do the opposite.
Exactly. We created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids could use to communicate with organic flesh.
Where did that breakthrough come from? Dr. Asher?
Apparently. He led the team to build the motor neurons in this analogy. They carry commands from central nervous OS to individual muscles across the chassis. But the synaptonin... Sorry, the synthetic analog serotonin. That was actually an old brainchild of the VP of Android Futures, Helen Young.
Me seeing this last name, I'm sure that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
Young. Hasn't David mentioned a Dr. Young before? Sounds impressive.
She's one hell of a biochemist. Or she was, I guess. Not much time for individual lab work when you get to her kind of pay grade.
So Young collaborated with David on the technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought, whatever went into Sarah that makes the android so distinct, he couldn't have taken sole credit for it. Young. Did he partner with her on this? Alright, let's see. There's something out there that caught my eye when we came in. Very familiar shade of crimson. If I squint through the glass out on the floor, there are temperature-controlled fluid tanks. Through glass and plastic flows an eye-catching scarlet that transitions into... So you add the blood towards the end? Phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
You mean the oxidant? Yeah, relatively late in the process. Something out of place?
Androids have blood, even if it's not officially labeled as such. But it isn't red, it's pink. Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish, but pink. I just didn't think the oxidant would be red.
Oh, right. Barely noticed it at this point. Color's natural. Comes from the biomanufacturing process. That chromofuge out there removes the byproducts, the waste, the excess pigment.
I do like that this is highlighted pink. I love that this is going to be evidence. Changing it from blood red to psychopop pink.
Without the chromofuge, our android's flesh would come out looking all the wrong colors.
That may be true. It probably isn't, but it may be. But I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. The sight of it carries weight. So true, bestie. They change the color of their product's blood so that when an android gets a bottle broken against its face, no one bats an eye. Yeah. Feels like I've seen this before. That's right, there was one in David's lab.
That's a nanograde elementary manufacturer. Nanofacturer for short.
Fair enough.
Real high quality piece of machinery. Each of them built in-house by Randok Mechanics.
What does it do?
Nano-level flash fab.
We'll look at that later.
Basically, a 3D printer for nanomachines.
You build nanomachines in your factories for use in your androids?
The raw materials are cheap. They're really elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the medical models that make use of them. Inject a couple thousand nanites into a patient's bloodstream, run diagnostics, provide a solution.
3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use?
Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, building blocks. They feed into the nanoprinter, it assembles the machines particle by particle.
That's crazy. It does that on the fucking atomic level? Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple nucleic acids.
This is what I do when I'm building a Gunpla.
Yeah, true! Must be time consuming.
You'd think, but Randolph cracked the code on parallel microfacturing. Inside's crystalline sprawling like an ant's nest. Raw materials enter at one of the thousands of different entry points, combining and recombining at intersections. The finished product ends up at the center, drips out in a liquid solution. Distilled nectar, swimming with millions of nanites in just 2 minutes.
Nectar? It's sticky?
It can be, depending on the desired output, but the door vacuum seals while it's cooking, so don't worry. It's completely spill-proof.
What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could just have brought home from the office one day. He must have bought his own for some reason. Nice. There's one more thing. There we go. Article. What have we got on this data pad? Some kind of write-up? On the subject of Sullivan's Peak. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a starting sentence. Much of our world today, and in fact, much of our world's economy is heavily influenced by the uncanny valley. Simple and easily applied explanation for the gaps we see in the otherwise wide spectrum of automated dependence that assist us in nearly every industry on the planet. We like things that resemble the living, like cartoons and puppets and toys, and we like things that are damn near indistinguishable from the living. Deep trenches between those two ends where products are universally appalling to human sensibility. Oh! Wow! This game is fucking saying something about AI deepfakes, and I love that for us. The Uncanny Valley will no doubt remain a useful tool for teaching, marketing, and design for generations to come. Increasingly clear that the space between nearly indistinguishable and truly indistinguishable is much wider than we ever suspected. I propose we bridge these gaps on knowledge by looking to the speculative fiction of Robert J. Sullivan, blah blah blah, described a concept which thereafter has been called Sullivan's Peak. A point past which making an artificial existence any more human in its features serves only to make the user experience more uncomfortable, more difficult, and more fraught with moral pitfalls. Phenomenal! phenomenal. This rocks. Will very soon reach a point at which the designers of ads can only make their creations less lifelike or less likable. A hard stopping point for technological progress. What then, we must ask? Ugh.
Oh.
Oh?
Looks like you forgot to sign into this device. Drop your thumb below and we'll get you squared away so you can keep reading.
Fuck. I can't wait for them to ask me a question where it becomes very clear that I retained none of that. Surprised to find reading material like that around here. Are they passing it around as a gag? Are they actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak around here? Noble must be... Yeah, see,
I think they're wary of it.
This is a thing where I'm like...
Like, they're making the blood pink for a reason, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like wary of it. Seems right.
Yeah, that feels right to me. You agree, Jane?
Sorry, I zoned out. What's going on?
They're asking if we think that Noble is wary of Sullivan's Peak or dismissive of it.
Wary.
Okay. We are all unanimous. If the peak does exist, they'll be coming up on it fast now that androids are warm. Noble's entire product line, maybe their entire industry, could go bottoms up if people start to think it's cruel. If Sarah's any indication of where their androids are headed, I could see some people getting uncomfortable.
Alright, hold on. You ready to get this ad handled?
Thanks for humoring me.
Alright, can I have you step into the scanner? Or
I
can
feel
you
like
have
actually...
it? Sorry, let me rephrase that because that line read was not correct. Can you have it step into the scanner?
As he says.
Understood.
Right, then what are we looking at here? Whoa. There's a lot to unpack here.
We theorize that it may have been Asher's pincushion.
A pincushion, huh? That one explains some of what I'm reading here.
What language is that on the screen?
Tess, you know, Tesseract, all Noble products and... Well, pretty much all products, period, are programmed in Tess. Easy to read and write, stays compliant. Now, this model, what's it go by?
Sarah.
This Sarah model. It's got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing, and emoting. But there's a lot crammed in here that's still in development. Like, in the idea phases. Solar cell hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances. Data storage is so large I can't... No, wow, he had to measure it using...
Hell of a poker face.
Wait, decryption and signal hijacking? That's...
Hacking?
essentially...
Does that mean it could hack its own tenants?
Oh no, that's unthinkable. Literally, for an ad. For an ad to break its tenets would be like... you stepping into traffic, or dropping a baby.
That's really
Or,
funny,
you know-
given who you're talking to
Yeah.
right now, Dawes. I want to
Or,
look
you
at
know, like,
tenants really
shooting
quick.
a stranger in cold blood.
Programming framework underlying the development of all modern ad software. Any and all contemporary supported programming languages are built upon the tenet system, a series of inviolable priorities for their code to pursue. A tenet cannot be circumvented under traditional circumstances, and even then, only if a tenet with higher weight supersedes it. First adopted in the field of ComSci as a true 3 priorities that govern how preserving human life, obeying human commands, and avoiding damage to human property should be prioritized. Since then, the ballooned to 113, most of them requested by lobbyists in the insurance industry looking to better define relative financial value. Well known for increasing decision time lag of programs, this combined with their engineered inflexibility has made it such that most programmers aim for a tenant limit below 30. Originally, the one tenant that could not be removed from any program was tenant safety 0, aka tenant 0 or tenant 1. Said tenant dictated the following program could not produce outcomes that could result in harm to a living person. But after the decision reached people versus Volstan's defense contractors and the resulting widespread adoption of automated dependence in the military and security, this is no longer required, though tenant 0 may still be added to particularly benign or mundane software as a good luck charm, superstitious ritual, or joke.
That's really funny. I like
Holy
that.
shit. I cut my teeth in sci-fi as like a tween reading Asimov. So like 3 laws is like deep in my soul.
Yeah, literally I saw tenets and I was like, are you about to fucking tell me that we abide by the 3 laws of robotics?
No, now we have 100 laws and most of them are from lobbyists.
It's like the 3 laws of robotics are kind of shit because they were written for a story.
And also, like, we have 113 of them, and most programmers try to use at maximum 30.
Even if you're physically capable of it, it's not something you'd ever choose to do.
Oh, buddy, you'd be surprised. Some people do walk into traffic. Psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean that there are androids?
Well, no, there aren't quote-unquote crazy androids, so yeah.
To me, the
Guess
crazy
my analogy
android
doesn't
is
hold
just
up.
a normal android.
That's okay. So it can't hack itself, but it was given the ability to hack other systems?
The industry line is such a capability could be an option in certain emergency scenarios. Breaking through firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police or military channels, I guess. Speaking of military, this musculoskeletal setup is drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model.
Can you lift a car or something, Sarah?
Most cars. It would depend on the center of gravity.
Okay.
Lady, this Sarah could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top.
Those stomping behemoths they bring out for riot suppression?
This dystopia has ATSTs,
Yeah, legit.
and in terms of computational ability, the estimate says... No, that can't be right.
Look, Dawes. I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software or the metadata. Who worked on it and when?
Oh, okay, yeah, right. Well, that's unfortunate. Editing logs have been purged.
Of
Surprise,
course.
surprise!
Mental image of Sarah just throwing up data into a toilet.
That doesn't sound very above the board.
Sorry, I can't tell you anything about who worked on Sarah or when.
Any chance you can restore those logs?
Not here, not with this machine. I need computers that were actually used for programming this model. Ideas where those would be?
Sarah?
I cannot answer that question with any accuracy.
Had a feeling you might say that. Ads, right?
Sorry, I can tell you that the code is unique. There's hints of the A16 in there, a few of the same conclusions, it's just... Dr. Asher or whoever took very different paths to get there.
So Sarah has even less in common with every other android on the inside?
Sorry, didn't expect to hit a dead end here.
Not at all. You've been very helpful. Can we still get the registration done?
Yeah, no problem. We've got software and forms all set up here. Occasionally we let a new business partner bring one home fresh from the oven, you know?
Oven? Gross.
Alright, a few basic questions then. Who's going to be the official owner of this unit?
Oh, fuck. Oh no, sorry. She is.
As it says, unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility.
Right then. You fine with the designation, Sarah? We can set it to anything you like.
Well, actually... Never mind, Sarah will do fine.
Okay, this part's all standard. Civilian model, address, contact info I can get from your crumbs. Do you want to reset to factory defaults? Could clear up a lot of quirks.
Not right now. Girl.
Last thing then is the grading. I'm reading 23 tenets here, nothing too far out of the ordinary.
23? That's higher than I expected, talking with it. She seemed more malleable than that.
Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearances has been a crapshoot. Not like it used to be. Used to be they only had 3 tenants total and every unit had to have them. Then came the first accidents and the first lawsuits, then the hearings, then the legislature.
And the demand for more tenants. A tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state. A tenant stating that ads wouldn't divulge private information without prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during risk assessment. Oof. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite.
Companies wanted their asses covered, customers wanted guarantees. There's never much incentive to deny a requested tenant, so the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market full force.
You sound like you don't approve.
I wouldn't go that far. Not on company property where there's cameras recording us.
So true, Bessie.
They need their ads to be able to pull the trigger when ordered to. Without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated, hard-coded decision points to get it there, I get that. Hi, Red Seraph!
Seraph!
But since the armies are the only ones using tech with bare minimum tenets, all the best, least cluttered, and most elegant code is only used for war games. Not very romantic.
Okay.
Well, not like I was on the jury.
Department of Advanced Events Projects versus Zenith Dynamics. The Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet. Changing tenets from a mandated list at the root of every odd source code to a choose-your-own checklist.
It's funny. Ads with most tenants, they're so locked up you can't even have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single-digit tenant counts are just vacuuming floors. The most impressive ones, like what you got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation.
What gets evaluated?
Total financial worth for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had very accurate algorithms for this. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Wow. I mean, I knew it was custom, but...
What price could they have possibly... That's a lot of digits.
You know, you should know these formulae are pretty conservative with their estimates. Stingy, even. You know, it is the insurance companies making them.
If Sarah's really David's last and greatest work, they say some things are priceless. But when you enforce an insurance algorithm to pick a number, and I saw that go into evidence.
Try not to get any scratches on it, I guess.
Really funny.
Morgan is
You
going to buy
spoke
so many
differently back
cigarettes.
there. Oh my god. You spoke differently back there. With Dawes, you spoke like he did, it seemed.
Like I copied his accent?
You seemed to mirror his affect, his tone.
It's called being friendly. What's your point?
Sarah, here, can I offer you a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People?
It was just an observation.
You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required.
Why were you so concerned about registering me in the first place, Adonai?
For the same reason I wouldn't drive around in a car without a license plate. Any cop, or even just a well-placed camera, could have spotted your barcode and seen that it wasn't set up with any actual data.
And then they would have arrested me, and then they would have thrown me in the slammer.
Good, I love Dawn. I love her so much. No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker.
An android can't get arrested?
People get arrested. Property gets seized. And then smashed. Oh, great, you put us over the weight limit.
Oh my god. I did no such...
Morgan Chancellor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors.
Who's asking?
Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Young.
Shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up.
I'll redirect your elevator now.
Taking control of your elevator is very...
Convenient?
forceful. As if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation.
If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't bother to be subtle.
I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate.
Or just let the elevator drop. Okay, it did click. That took a second. I did not want to double click there.
3:54 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Noble Electronics, Northeastern HQ. Executive Office. Young.
I see that fucking silhouette. Oh my fucking god.
Let's go.
Could I lodge a request to pick up
Girl!
Young?
Absolutely go for it.
Sorry, I got distracted. Right. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? Here I thought I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. Should we let her stew?
Let her stew. Let her
Let her
stew.
stew.
Yeah, letters do.
Silence is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long. Girl, I love you. She's so funny. Also, like, I have so many fucking credits. We're good.
I always like this time of day.
Not too muggy for you?
No, I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me.
You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year. Ugh, sorry, hold on. Yeah.
As the air quality drops. Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill.
Hey, no, it's not childish. It's called being gay.
Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here.
Dr. Young.
Just Miss is fine.
Ms. Young, I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here to talk about the weather. Hold on. Show her to me. Okay, I love her hidden talent.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Baseball enjoyer.
Dislikes working from home, shopping online, and waiting. Lol.
I am
Well,
picturing her in like a fucking Yankees cap or whatever, like waving a little flag, and it's very funny to me.
she
Absolutely.
fucking would be a Yankees fan.
I don't actually know American baseball, that's just the only team name I know. No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years.
Yes, we did, but as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help?
She sent him? Trying to be helpful or just trying to control the narrative? He was great. But that must mean you know why I'm here.
I don't want to make assumptions.
No need, I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over. And every person I speak to.
Yes, the lawyers made all of that quite clear.
You lawyers.
You have an android. It's not one of ours.
You can tell that quickly? Got all the faces memorized?
Oh, it's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes.
If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. What time is it again? One of David's last requests, apparently.
David asked you to take it? I've been told that you've been to David's estate already.
The police gave me full access to the scene.
Then you know that he wasn't alone last night.
Yes. There was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted.
I was that witness.
Ah.
Was that updated on the water glass? Hold on. Yes. Now
Yep,
it says...
we had her DNA. Oh, or did... Yeah.
Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people David would bother meeting with in person. Let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Young is his superior, on paper, if not in fame. And I knew that the witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation?
Oh, of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak.
I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of, all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind?
Eventually you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record opened. Through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion.
We're about to hit an ad break, so...
I just delete it.
Oh, okay. Still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen.
Touché.
And?
So perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well.
You're doing this for my sake?
No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic.
Girl, they make therapists for that.
They make robot therapists.
If she wants
She ends
to
up in a Pagliacci situation is the thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
If she wants to play confessional,
No,
that's fine by me. But
I
is that
programmed this positive
really-
affirmation into you.
But is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning, then? You went to his home last night.
Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly.
He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call in person?
We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked.
About?
Oh, the good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves.
How long ago was that?
7 or 8 years ago.
Ms. Young?
Putting a number on it, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought that a few minutes later...
That he would be dead.
that he would commit suicide in front of me.
A firm reply? What happened?
A 8:15, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back into his workshop, and then he must have went down into his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime, enjoyed the view.
In other words, she stayed on camera.
He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep.
You tried to wake him?
He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system.
Didn't think to use your phone?
No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The Penumbra's emergency protocol summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived.
I think we're about to hit another ad.
I got it. Don't worry.
Well, it's going to start again in 5 minutes. So you went with them to the hospital, I take it.
Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a tox screen, which came back clean.
So did David's, for all the good it did him.
I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point. I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE SOP. Also, hello, PB's dog.
Stream cannot
That's what
see
they
him,
paid to
but
do.
He had to come on camera.
You seem certain that it was suicide.
Oh, yes.
Why?
As I said, he got quieter as the time passed and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said he was content.
Okay, here's my real quick theory. Which is that he knew that somebody was attempting to make an attempt on his life. And that's why he says this.
That makes sense.
It'd be really funny if there was like 8 different conspiracies to kill him, and then it turns out that he actually just offed himself anyway.
Yeah, no, it would be really funny. My thinking is that he had a hunch, and yeah, we'll see though.
It could even be that was actually said, but it was like, I know that you are killing me right now, but I'm happy to end it here anyway.
Yeah. I do not think that she did it.
I'm not sure yet. I feel like
I
I
don't
need
know
more
whether
information.
she did it or not, but I don't know if we can trust everything she says.
No,
you know?
I absolutely think that she's holding shit back, but I don't think she did it. I don't think
Fair.
whether or not she's quote-unquote responsible, I don't think she intended... If she is responsible at all for what happened, I don't think it was with an intent to kill. I'll put it that way. Because she said that they got into a heated discussion, and I don't know. She's definitely holding something back. I don't think that she did it.
And he downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you?
Curious, restless, perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. Alright, well, let's fucking go down the list, I guess. Is there anything that anybody wants to hear first?
The cups.
I was thinking about the cups myself, so... I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups?
Oh, there's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was
inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular.
You don't mince words. We didn't either back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that our entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating.
The two of them made the one-point doctrine? That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. Come to think of it, it's not a story I ever heard from David himself.
We had this deadline. Self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the President of International Sales by the end of the day. 7 PM rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hit 9 o'clock and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David to tell him that it's not going to happen. We're nowhere near finished and the day's long since been over. He looks at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat and I've just stopped pitching water. And he says... PB, you had David, right?
Yeah, there will be dog barking. Oh, actually, we're on an ad break right now.
Oh, whoops.
Sorry, I didn't catch it this time.
It's okay. Hello, PB's dog.
Hi, Miles.
This is Miles. He is named after Miles Edgeworth, of course.
Awesome.
Because we adopted him a couple days before Christmas, and almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas.
Awesome.
Oh, did you turn your camera off?
He left my lap.
I haven't been able to look at Discord because I've been hosting the stream.
Unfortunately.
He's willing to... This dog is timing his barks perfectly to when I hit the push to talk.
We're back.
He is willing to sit on my lap. I will be right back.
PB, do you want me to do it?
Dog has been bribed.
Okay.
We've also got a bot. Thank you.
Also, shoutouts to Nth Circle Games for actually retweeting. Well, blue skying.
Yeah.
Our stream.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
They've been really good. I follow them, and they've been really good about like every streamer who's playing their game.
I do love that it means that they really appreciated the meme that you made. Anyway. God, it's really fucking warm in my room right now. Holy shit.
Uh-huh.
Rachel and I were talking earlier, and I was like, Rachel was like, I'm so glad that we got 2 weeks of spring before it became summer. And I'm like, I know, right? Ugh.
The president lives on the other side of the globe.
Oh shit, hold on, sorry.
We've still got all night until his end of day.
Hold on, I have to figure out... Okay, there we go.
We wrapped up at 4 in the morning. Just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads.
That is Jung again.
Wait, that's
that is
young.
young. Never mind, my bad.
No worries. He finally sends the message, and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We sat blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed that he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, But together, David and I, we had finally gotten a win. So David asks if I've got anything to drink. I've got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle, says he wants to toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast.
I love her fucking ponytail. Oh my god, look at her.
Oh my god, it's really good.
Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell.
Sounds like a good memory.
Plastic cups and liquor, that was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was a ceremony for us.
Alright, let's do CCE, because I really want to know what that's about.
Yeah.
You said CCE, Standard Operating Procedure, a moment ago. What is that?
CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand.
So, Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned?
Oh, they give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course, usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations.
They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops?
Murder is fairly rare at our level. Most likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant.
That's smart. Like snipers purposefully avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources.
That's terrible. Like snipers purposefully avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources.
Oh, that's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady. Or become a mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks.
That's a nasty piece of work.
It's a nasty line of work. Consulting.
I'm sorry?
Oh, that's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV.
So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually...
Oh, it depends. Did they say that they're consultants? Or did they say they were in consulting?
How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack?
Noble's competitors have been trying to get David for years. And that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming. And they'd probably have struck first.
As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you?
Oh, that's correct.
Didn't you join the company at around the same time?
David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game.
So was he unpopular around here?
Oh, not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps.
How so?
He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just autism, you know?
Autism. Yeah, I understand.
Not everyone could work at the same pace as he did for as long as he did.
Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David? Speaking of which, I don't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So would you say that his work-life balance was...
How balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company.
Oh my god.
Fascinating. So was he in harmony? Seraph just said, yeah, that sounds like the autism.
Oh god, no. David always had plenty of suitors, but... he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject.
Right.
What do you mean?
I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings.
Scandalous.
Girl. The A16 only entered production this year, correct?
Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids.
I played my part supervising the launch, yes.
Weren't you the one who designed Synatonin? The factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts?
I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, Synatonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it.
Took the reins?
He was lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expression, exhaustion parameters. And he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible.
David did all of that. That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on the A14 or the A15?
No, he used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon, he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas. And eventually, they came to follow his lead.
Just like that? Yeah, me too.
Just like
man.
that.
So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments?
Oh, that's the kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was.
Maybe they weren't paying him enough.
The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years.
So this android, Sarah. Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from.
It's not in any of our systems.
I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project?
Pet?
No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it... I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him... Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice.
He never mentioned me.
No, never.
Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card?
The company's accountants are mirthless even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom.
You have a mailroom?
Oh, not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. She's so sad.
Does she have a fucking special interest?
He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself.
I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Except the hacking stuff. So why keep it secret?
I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results.
That's a fucked up thing to say. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you.
A difficult day for all of us.
A message from Fran? I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news.
Are you really going to take this to court?
That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of.
And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide?
I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Okay, I clicked. Come on. Thank you.
Back to transit.
Back to transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down?
I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you?
That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Hi!
Speed
Hello!
walking.
Welcome. I'm so glad you could make it. Welcome. Welcome. We're glad that you're here from Nth Circle themselves.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for joining us.
Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like... Shao?
Just let me catch my breath for a minute.
Adonai? Is it possible that you are... out of shape?
No.
But since we left the cab, your heart rate has...
I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes.
Is that so?
Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate. And the sun's reaching its zenith.
That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp?
You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Girl, I love you. I love you so much. Oh my god. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here?
The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it.
Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. The champagne flute and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town.
It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful.
Of what?
It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs, too. It could be carrying diseases. You should...
Relax.
Wait, is Morgan gonna shoot the dog?
Adonai, it's growling.
It's not growling at me. See?
So it's just me that it doesn't like.
Too much static.
So how do you get it to calm down?
It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm.
Do you like animals?
What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Oh my god, girl! You are a cold-blooded freak! We know this!
Do you have a pet?
No, never have.
Why not?
Because I don't want to take care of a pet.
That seems counterintuitive to me.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you.
But...
You notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. Her fucking chipmunk cheeks, I love her. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety?
It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself.
A perfectly good robot, and you gave her anxiety.
Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you.
Sarah is so friggin' cute with her pouting. I love her.
She's such a little brat.
In other words,
Slash pause.
you're shy.
That is not what I... Can I try petting it?
There's no law against it. Show me the art. Show me the art. Show me the art. No!
I was
Why
dead
are we
certain that Morgan was
deprived
gonna
of
shoot
Sarah
that
petting
dog.
a dog?
Sometimes art denies you catharsis for effect. you know?
I'm jamming.
This is the establishment.
Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims.
Do you think Father is close with this man? This man who you've never met?
I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two. Last night.
So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together?
The fucking sweat drop! That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Girl, just admit it.
Inappropriate. I don't know, it's only
I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Show me the texts.
Did you catch the killer yet?
No.
What the hell? I sent you his position.
I'm at his, quote, position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. My mom just sent me an article from The Onion, headlined, "Woman reminds self not to catastrophize after spotting 4 skeletal horsemen on the horizon." Thanks, Mom. So true. Also,
literally
Delta.
everyone. Literally,
Hi,
I
Miles.
agree. Delta the android. Everyone or android. That's great.
Andrew,
Morgan is
phenomenal.
really surrounded by just brats at every corner of her life.
Sarah, Fran, Reyes. Yeah, 100%. Morgan, listen. Morgan needs someone who will give her the option to be a brat sometimes.
That's Emma. That's
Emma. You're right. I was going to say the exact same thing. I'm glad we're on the same page here. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now.
Lame.
Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Delta also said, "Hi, Em." Yep.
Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect.
That's almost sweet, I think.
Asher started out working in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or, something.
You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies.
Eat this analogy.
I fucking wish I had a bleep on the soundboard for this.
Fucking fuck you, bitch. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger.
I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it?
Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically.
But not Cube?
You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. I love that Fran's little profile picture, like, jiggles about when she's typing.
Yeah, it's cute.
Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient.
How rugged?
Why'd Ashel and Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s.
I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something.
Vague.
Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. Hey, look, I see a silhouette over in the corner. I'm sure that's relevant. And I never asked.
What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai?
Not telling. The stage for the talent. Pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark. Once you get past the bouncer.
Do you think they might have met here?
David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here.
Because you found the walk so challenging?
Because it's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous.
I see.
What's that face? You got an opinion to share?
The atmosphere is not bad in here, but the music isn't quite.
I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like?
Early 21st century punk rock.
Girl, same! Is that
love
just
Sarah.
you? Or does that go for all androids? Also, I love her face.
I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them.
Wonder what they'd say.
If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with early 21st century punk rock.
Debate settled. Oh, let me hit this read first. Ah! What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview? I'm trying to hit that talk last, not because I think that it's going to keep us away from the rest of the investigation, but also I have a fear that it's going to keep us away from the rest of the investigation. Exclusive sit-down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips, blah, blah, blah. The most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked. And it was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand and I can't change it without setting the stock market into a spin. This is how I feel about changing my Tumblr URL.
Absolutely.
You're certainly influential. NT saw a 3,000% increase in share price. I'm happy for them, but to be honest, it's pain at times like this. Plain white t-shirt and gym shorts with no branding visible. On her, it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. I can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Holy shit. Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Fascinating. Wow. First the AI deepfake thing, and now, the unreasonable beauty standards. And Circle really said, alright, we're gonna swing for every single fucking fence in episode 1. Thanks! Don't get stuck on a cliffhanger like that. Hurry! Log in below so you can read the rest. Quickly! Time is running out! Fuck you. Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. Might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... She's influential, but... She's influential, but I don't know that that necessarily translates to power.
I mean, it depends on your definition of power, right? It's...
Yeah.
She could make the choice to, you know, wear an outfit and then change the economy a little bit, which does feel powerful, but those choices are what control her. Like, that self-same economy is what controls her actions in the first place, so...
Yeah.
I don't know, powerful, I mean, powerless, it's difficult to say, right?
What do the other two
PB.
think?
I feel like it's more powerless, but I could be wrong.
Jane, what about you?
Powerful.
Shit, we're so split.
I think I'm leaning towards powerful. I think that
What?
everything
The
is
question is
trying-
if she is powerful, right?
I think that
Yeah.
everything in the article is trying to tell us that influence is power.
Yeah,
I can't believe
think
they're
that's
making
fair.
you do a fucking AP Lang comprehension test right now.
I love it. It's great.
Christ. Okay. And then if it turns out I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey! Sunrises are too meteoric for even the Megs to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Yeah, okay, so that's what it's trying to tell us, is that influence is
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
Good for her?
That makes sense now.
Come on. There we go. The aiming on... Yeah, the reading comprehension quizzes in this game is really good. A bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Incredible for them to be slow releasing a game they could teach in school already. So true, Sarah. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good when you're drunk enough to... Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. That's not fair. I've had decent bar food before. So you can, like, eat things?
Yes, I can.
What do we think Morgan's like when she's drunk? What kind of drunk is she?
What?
Because my first thought is like, this is a woman who never gets drunk in her life, but she clearly has had experience.
What?
Uh-huh.
Like Android food?
There is no such product.
So what do androids eat?
Online user guides for Noble's warm models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes.
Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charger separation anxiety.
According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forgo electrical charging long-term.
This is the shit my sister feeds her guinea pigs.
Oh my god. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food?
No, it is not like dog food at all.
Can you buy it from the pet store? It
seems that you can.
Sorry. That was a Sarah line. I don't know why I started saying it as a Morgan line. How is this something you have to look up anyway?
Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me.
Yeah, Seraph, by the way, said about Morgan, she's an even more guarded drunk, I would bet. Like, she would seem looser, but that would be, in fact, be a deeper act.
Uh-huh.
Like what?
Marbled beef. Never hydroponic avocados. Foie gras. That sort of thing.
I am not paying for any of that. Okay, yeah, that's him, alright. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight.
Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? Adonai, be careful. If you proceed, you will not be able to save after this point. Please make sure that you've stocked with all the equipment you need.
I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll...
Person looks pretty cool. But also looks pretty straight.
You think this is straight?
It's all sort of gotten mixed up at this point. Who knows what the future's like?
Look, I think there are two things here. One, play it straight. Obviously the correct move. Two, play it cool. I think has the potential to be incredibly funny.
Yes. Delta said, see, I struggled with this because Morgan is neither cool nor straight. So true.
I mean, this person could be straight if the straights appropriated mesh tops in the next, 100 years.
And also having sex with other men.
I do think playing it cool is the funnier way to go.
Absolutely, go for it.
Hey there. Oh, that was a bad start from me.
You or me, Jane?
I took Young, so if you wanna tap in for this one.
Alright, I'll take this one. Hey.
Some sick beats out there on the floor, right? There we go.
Sick beats?
Holy fuck.
Yeah, or whatever. Man.
The fuck are you talking about?
Beautiful than I could have imagined.
Instantly paying dividends.
What the hell? Are you a fucking cop or something? This isn't a cop bar. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, we lost chips for
money.
that. Oh, we could have save scummed that. That was funny.
Yeah. Well, you aren't really dressed like a cop. I feel like most cops would be better at... God damn it. You're media, aren't you? Fucking vultures, man.
Perhaps I should start over. My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Yeah, it was fucking worth it. And also, I had the chips to spend. We're still at 54. I'm currently his lawyer. Can we talk?
Not here.
Thanks, Isaac.
Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with the tab. Looks like we got a profile on him.
Yes, let's go look at this guy. Oh, we're still on Helen.
Musician bassist, likes itineraries, grilling, and champagne. Dislikes resistance training, producers, and ads.
Uh-oh, yeah, don't let Sarah see this guy. The worst at folding laundry. Hey, bud, mood.
So, what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend?
I'm his defense attorney.
I think you missed the bus on that then, huh?
Yeah, Monkey Man, one of the reasons why I don't have my camera on for these streams is because immediately behind me, and I'm turning around in my chair like you can see me, immediately behind me at my desk is my bed, which is perpetually covered in clean laundry that I just lift from. So no, I do not fold my laundry. And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday.
Doesn't everybody? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks.
You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Seraph said that is in fact the play. I'm right and I should say it. I fold my laundry maybe once every month. Only a short time before he died.
How the hell?
Isaac. It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy.
Fine.
Sarah.
Yes, Adonai.
What the hell? That thing transmitting?
I am not streaming any data, no.
Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court.
Fine.
You two were together, is that correct?
Well, we were together. I ended it. Yesterday.
Awkward. Care to elaborate?
Our entire relationship?
Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and mags for the next 3 months.
We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. Ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins, letting his gin and tonic sweat on the table for 2 hours. Dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. Two of them didn't even make it 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious, or stupid, or shameless, or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow, my set had been cancelled, his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so... I asked him why he insisted on coming here, night after night. Just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, "'Cause I like your music."
Oh my fucking god.
Wow.
Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on. Him being so passionate about work I could barely even pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever.
Until...
There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to understand where his priorities were. And how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little. Wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him. Like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset, he'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother.
Bro, I don't necessarily think that's a fair reading of the situation. But, then again, this guy does kind of seem a little bit like a workaholic.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't think that's a fair read of the situation.
It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still, I had this stupid idea somehow, for whatever reason, that I'd be different. That I'd be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it.
Last night.
I called him. Didn't expect him to pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or an ad or whatever. But he answered first ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher.
And what did he say?
He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That's fine. Woof.
I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped up in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean. Ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David?
Oof.
And now you're just the tip of the iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking too much.
It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide.
Are you serious?
You don't have all the facts.
And you do? Any of them point to anything else? Thought so.
Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it.
That's it? No summons?
The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that.
Court, huh?
Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go.
Your discography is very impressive.
Yeah, thanks.
And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think
Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shitting them back out?
I was not trained on any datasets that...
Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century.
Sarah, we're leaving. What the hell was that about?
He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model. An early 21st century...
Not that. Why do you talk to him?
I wanted to... I just felt that I should say something to him.
A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just... corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging.
You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai?
Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left.
Is there still somewhere you want to investigate?
Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point.
"5:16 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Noble Employee Housing Building, Platea. Penthouse basement. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene?"
I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle.
The other angle?
You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. God fucking damn it. I can't even escape Umaneko in my silly lawyer game!
Ah. Oh.
I have to unstick myself from my desk chair. It's way too warm in my room. I think this scene is... After this scene is probably a safe place to call it because I'm 95% sure we're going to court after this.
Yeah.
That seems correct.
So let's do this investigation and then we will call stream for the night.
Sounds good.
Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I mean, Sarah, the other thing is that I've spent like 2 or 3 volumes of Umaneko going, God damn it, I can't even escape from fucking Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat is in every goddamn mystery visual novel I've ever read in my life.
I've seen mystery films.
Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher?
Poison.
10 points.
There's a point system?
Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream?
He must have ingested it orally.
And how do we know that?
The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds.
And if he had inhaled it?
Inhaled it? Why?
Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them.
I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice.
Practice by answering my question.
I suppose it's possible. but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler.
Right. An airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left is oral intake.
Eliminating the impossible.
I will also say, in 2086, I can't imagine that there isn't the option for skin absorption. But that's neither here nor there.
What's next, Adonai?
I think we've also hit an ad break. So I will pause here for a second.
Sorry, I'm being harassed by dog.
Yeah, that's fine. Running an ad break is not a bad thing.
No, it's fine.
Actually, I will be right back. I gotta feed this beast.
Yeah, feed the beast. I'm gonna look at some evidence really quick. Young arrived at 7:30 and remained on camera until 8:03. Young spoke with David Asher in his parlor before he left at 7:36. Upon returning at 7:40, I will say I did find it interesting the porter did not, we have the record of the call, I guess, on David's phone, so that tells us when that call was made. David Asher felt lethargic and disoriented shortly after 8 p.m. David Asher lost consciousness at 8:03. EMS was called from the emergency console in the kitchen at 8:04. David Asher and the witness were taken to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital at 8:08. A plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey found in it. Saliva and fingerprints match Helen Young. Contains no traces of foreign elements. Poison? Question mark. Right, the depressant. Whiskey spill. No foreign compounds have been found, but the results are deemed inconclusive. My guess, I'm pretty sure that it was in the cup. It was the cup, not the whiskey, right?
Oh, like the cup itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sarah's valuation, which I'm sure is going to be important. Ad break is over. We're just going through evidence really quick.
I'm back.
Just in time, the ad break just ended. Alcohol was the only item positively identified at the time. This is just like fucking Umineko, LMFAO. Counter-corporate espionage, etc., etc. My god, there's so much shit. Manufacturer, whiskey. Forensic analysis shows no foreign elements or toxins. Brand favored by the deceased. Chromifuge removes byproducts, impurities, and pigments from android blood. And probably other substances as well. I would not be surprised. Executive 4. Caduceus only offers 3 levels of okay, that outrank it. Okay, I see. Alright, let's go back to what we were talking about. Jung's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home.
Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive.
Jung was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned.
That all seems logical. And consistent with the police's theory of suicide.
I love Proud Sarah pose so much.
Yeah.
So why are we down here?
Minus 10 points.
Back to 0.
David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story.
So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar.
Better. 5 points.
Huh.
Did he also get the poison from the cabinet?
The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches the poison down here.
So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again.
But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to...
If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Prove that David knowingly added the poison himself.
He wouldn't do that.
And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. Devil's proof. How long was David off camera?
From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m., when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar.
So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time...
He would have a perfect alibi for the crime.
proving his innocence.
But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here.
I think there are. Nice. Good shot there.
What do you mean?
This whole building is coded head to toe in Penumbra security systems courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into Penumbra. Except that.
That panel is...
Manufactured by Cotter's security systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse?
I've never given it much thought.
That was your first mistake. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall.
You mean...
Signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before?
It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home.
At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence?
Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command.
Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. That was almost Palpatine. I'm so sorry.
She is almost Palpatine.
Did you really need me to say that?
For the purposes of record keeping, yes.
You...
I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building.
Where are they feeding to, if not the Penumbra system?
Behind my hibernation unit.
A false wall in the back of a safe.
I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home?
Beats me. He was brilliant, and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. He's also goddamn paranoid.
I see. I think?
I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? We've just established that folding laundry is for fools and cowards.
What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising?
Did you ever see him use any of this crap?
No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking. Since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health.
She was so mad about the weight still being racked. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Oh, hey, there's mechs?
Oh, let's go. Don't be so sure, Adonai.
Pardon?
The following is a true story, based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Danke Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills.
I'm so glad Akane Kurashiki has shown up for a moment.
I know, right?
A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings. But the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say. That man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene, when suddenly his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush toward the door,
She's summarizing a movie.
grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis. Acute dissociative identity disorder.
That doesn't change your entire physical frame, though. Unless...
That's right. The man had a split personality.
We should ask the Alexandrites. I'm joking.
And so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control,
Okay, this is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
he physically changed, becoming taller,
Is it?
bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do, just because of how he looks on the outside.
Sarah, every single word you just said was false.
Is it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or is it
Yeah,
just a
absolutely
crock of
was.
shit?
Yeah.
Huh?
Is that that one M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Don't believe everything you read on the net.
Sarah is reading SCPs and thinks it's fucking Wikipedia. I love her.
Good for her.
Adonai, I believe there is a way to find the 151st Pokemon in Pokemon Red. You simply need to go back to the SS Anne after it has left. When you have obtained Surf.
The liquor
Surf
cabinet
south.
is Mystery
There's a
King is on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case... Can I make you anything?
Well, if you're offering, I'll have...
Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever?
Technically.
Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. Sarah, I would be able to move the truck because I would be able to perfectly push it with strength of 151 times.
This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder.
What?
Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out.
And?
It's important to know the distinction. This is also a reference to... This
That's
is a
an
reference
Ace Attorney
to...
reference, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's really funny. Okay. The
Yes.
the sin of my life is that I have never done an Ace Attorney.
It's got its roots. Like Umineko, they're both very Ace Attorney inspired.
Yeah.
I
know
This game is
Ace Attorney.
a lot more Ace Attorney than it is Umineko.
Yeah, definitely. I know Ace Attorney pretty well, I would say. But I have
Absolutely.
not actually played it. I think my housemate owns it. Ace Attorney is a game that I will not be playing on stream. That one I will do by myself. I have enough games that I am saving for stream that I will simply die if you ask me to add Ace Attorney to that as well. I'd bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again, ever. I'm checking to make sure that there isn't something else before I... Aha! What's the story with this, anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation?
I don't know. I've never noticed that track before.
Might want to get those eyes checked.
There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack must have just been created during my most recent hibernation.
How? Did David drop a weight? A bunch of times, over and over in the same spot? Perhaps 151 times? I'm still checking.
There's a thing you keep hitting.
I know,
you-
I'm ignoring that still.
Oh, okay. I think that's it.
I'm making sure that there's nothing else because they jumped immediately to
Mhm.
Porter in the last one when there was a question mark next to him, and so I'm making sure. All right, let's go. So is that the original?
It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine.
At least you didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see?
I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter? Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think.
Morgan insisting that this is cubism is still one of my favorite moments in this
It was
fucking
so
game.
funny. Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh?
Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third.
How do we open it?
One moment. I see.
Got it open already?
I cannot open this door.
Why?
It is a Tethys basic Sturdicure.
That anti-hack feature in the name is real?
It's a closed system, Adonai.
What the hell am I supposed to do now?
Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters.
I don't follow.
When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating.
And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning, this is a door that only I can open?
It'll be a 6-character password. Some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word?
Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn?
Ah, shit,
I
we
just
gotta
wanna
jump to a
say-
different timeline.
I just want to say, I have played through this bit already, and I got it instantly, so I'm smarter than all of you.
I have 2 guesses.
I have a guess.
I have no guess. Wait, no, I have a guess. Never mind.
Okay, I want to hear the other guesses.
It's too silly to be... it could be the answers. Morgan is 6 characters.
I also was
That's
going to
too
say
straightforward.
Morgan.
And the other one is Adonai.
Both of those.
Adonai
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. We can try that. It's opening. What was the password, Adonai?
You'd never guess.
Take that, Jane, for calling us stupid.
You thought it was Morgan.
I said both options.
I thought it was Porter.
Porter, okay.
But
yeah.
that's a little sentimental for Dr. David Asher, I think. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech.
Naming his panic room password his ex-boyfriend and then killing himself is like...
Well, in fairness, it wouldn't have been his ex-boyfriend if he toggled it before they broke up, because they broke up last night. They weren't exes yet. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here, and it all makes sense. It's a panic room.
Scary.
A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints.
So, when Noble built his penthouse for one of their executives...
Someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality.
I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates.
You mean you can smell?
Better than any human, and some canines.
So does it smell stale in here to you?
Stale?
It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer.
You don't think the console's password protected?
2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. She's so valid. Good, it's already signed in.
You were looking for camera footage.
I love this effect. This is great. I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, use search for video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices.
I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m.
You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then.
Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty.
Try double-clicking.
I love these Monogatari ass. Like, little cuts. I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai.
IT work be like... Literally one of my favorite parts of the previous Umineko volume to the one that that I'm currently reading. No spoilers. Bunny girls discover the woes of IT in real time. So fucking funny. I got another glimpse of it in the current volume I'm reading, and it killed me dead.
But they are encrypted.
Damn it, David. You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into.
These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool.
Seraph, you really do have to play Umineko.
This appears to be Father's own work.
Shit! If David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special?
I don't know, I...
Can you break his encryption, yes or no?
With enough time.
And how much time would that be?
I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours.
That's a 4-hour window.
No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process.
2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started.
I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago.
Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time.
I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote.
So you're doing it in the back of your head?
Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head.
I love her so much!
So good. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive.
Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take the show on the road? Or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery?
I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready.
Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. Girl, if you'd thought to check this earlier, you would not be in this situation. I get it. It's storytelling, okay? We're putting it in the category of we had to do this for drama. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Hold on to this for me.
It must be very important if you're giving it to me.
It's certainly very heavy.
Was there anything else in there?
Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up?
It is a possibility, isn't it?
Maybe in a corny old murder mystery.
A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of...
There is something else. Your papers.
That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah.
It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all of this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now.
Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it?
Not if people realize how precious you are. That was a cute thing to say, but I know what she means. As a collector's item. See? Exactly. She fucking ruined it. Sarah's cute little face is about to go away, so savor it for the moment. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this.
It's good that you do, then. I'm glad the father wanted me to go with a friend of his.
Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college.
You could at least pick a charitable institution.
It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. Yikes.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority.
There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation.
That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there.
The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7.
Oof.
I'll prepare on the way over.
Very good, Adonai.
Okay. Come on. Alright. That's us for the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot.
We got a lot in there.
Got a lot in
Yeah.
there.
Once again, we're getting our monthly of the devil installment in. Maybe this month we'll get more than one session in. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week.
No.
It's Morgan May.
I'm going home
That's
to
the month
see
that
my
it is right now.
parents for Mother's Day, and also because my uncles are going to be in town. Originally, primarily because my uncles are going to be in town, but Mother's Day is a nice little bonus to go see my mom. So I will not be here. I will be here the week after that. But before we log all the way off, let me hit the thanks screen while I continue to talk about this. So next week we won't be here. The week after that we probably will be. The week after that is our big Moonshot charity stream. 3 days of prime Moonshot content. We've got some really good things on the schedule. I will not talk about them this week because we've got to get the actual schedules and stuff posted. But that is that's coming up the 23rd, 24th, 25th of May. So obviously that's going to be taking over our usual spot. But the stuff that we have planned is really good and fun. So keep an eye out for the Moonshot Blue Sky, which, hold on a second, I think that's at Moonshot Pods, right? At Moonshot Pods, and oh god, and now I have to go check Blue Sky, because yeah, at moonshotpods.bisky.social, or on Tumblr at moonshot, whatever the fuck our Tumblr URL is, so that you can keep apprised of all of that. And we will be plugging that over the course of the next few weeks as well. Meanwhile, tomorrow, I guess, is going to be more Sleepover Sunday, so that'll be good. And Mac, will be back on Tuesday with more blueprints, which I had 2 separate dreams about this week.
Yay.
Not about gameplay, but about playing the game. Literally. 2 separate dreams. I woke up after the second one, and I was like, man. So in the meantime, do any of y'all have anything that you want to plug before we sign off for the night?
Keep an eye on the Unwise Girls feed, because we are taking a break from the works of Rick Riordan, and we'll be doing a bunch of miscellaneous things this weekend. You can expect an episode on Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. That's me and Jane talking about 1990s hit film Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Hell yeah.
We thought we'd try this novel approach where two people do a media analysis podcast, but they talk about stuff that was made for adults. We try that for a while.
That's a weird thing to do. Let's see. I can plug. If you sub to the Moonshot Patreon, among other things, you'll get access to 0 Hours Played, which is a spin-off of our other Patreon show, Once Missed Wonders. 0 Hours Played is hosts playing video games they've never touched before. And the latest one I was on because I had never experienced Fortnite before.
Yeah,
So if
PB
you
and
wanna
I
hear some
played
folks-
Fortnite for the first time last month. Just in time for them to apparently add infinite ammo to the game.
Yeah, it's Star Wars themed right now.
Yeah.
They're doing Star Wars and Fortnite again, which I, along with so many other Star Wars fans, will forever be mad about the whole pre-episode 9 stuff.
My fucking god.
Anyway,
I'm so
I won't get
mad.
Have you
into that
seen
here.
the skin for Palpatine where it just looks like a behind the scenes photo of Ian McDermott with like no lighting on his face or anything? It just looks like he's wearing a fucking rubber mask.
God.
Yep.
Uh,
Anyway, yeah, so to
do-
the Moonshot Patreon, or if you don't want to do that, but you still want to taste some of that stuff, I know that at least the first year, if not the first 2 years of Once Missed Wonders, where we talk about movies the hosts had never seen before, are on their own public feed.
Yeah, we
right.
now have the second year of Once Missed Wonders on the public feed. So yeah. Check it out. Jacqueline, were you gonna say something else before we jumped off?
I was gonna say that if we wanted to, we could raid one Darling Demon Eclipse.
Oh, she's
Absolutely.
streaming.
She's still alive? Hell yeah. Can you
Yeah.
plug that in for us, PB, please?
Let's see if I know how to do a raid.
Eclipse is currently streaming Aneurysm 4, another game about industrial nightmares, dystopian societies, I think.
I think it's /raid, PB.
There we go.
Yeah, we're figuring out how to do this Twitch thing in real time.
It's a live stream of us figuring out how the thing works. What could be more authentic than that?
So true. All right.
Bye.
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 The raid has happened.
Yay.
Yay.
Which means I'm going to stop recording and